Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to April's Talking Town Time Machine. The season might be over, but the content keeps coming, and I think it's fair to say, Coxie, we're a little bit nervous here tonight, aren't we?
We are live. When the last two were done, we recorded. So this is
We're
in new territory here.
With very new territory. So we're stepping out with the time machine, going from recorded to live. It may work, it may not work. If it doesn't, it'll be the first and last time we do it live when we go to doing it recorded. But we're going to give it a go all the same. 3 games from across the decades where we're going to bring them up, discuss, hopefully all tied up within that famous number I've been saying all week and missed and failed, 30 minutes. We've got Colin Plum in the chat. Welcome in, Colin. EJ Norris. Good evening, TT people. Hopefully you've all had a good day. I see Ipswich have already made their first signing. Young left back Hudson. That's a development player. That don't count. Whoever had May the 4th on their bingo cards doesn't count. Does not count. Right, Coxie, joining us from this point on, because we like to work as a 3 here at TT Towers, is somebody that doesn't need any introduction. He's seen the town up and down. He's moaned every step of the way. The media mogul, Matthew Phillips.
When do we say up and down? Mostly down.
Mostly down.
A slight slither of up.
As you've often said, if you want glory, go and support Man City.
Well, I have said that. I have got to stand by that, haven't I?
Yeah.
But, Ipswich often get, slated for looking back on our history, but I always think, why not?
Yeah.
Great, successful periods of British football, in my opinion.
I completely agree. I completely agree. I'm just looking at procrastinating Womble, asking a question about the here and the now, the current day.
I don't think it does it?
It doesn't. We play through it.
No, we play through it, unfortunately. It's going to be clashes, isn't it? It's going to be clashes.
Oh, yeah, definitely. You'll be at Portman Road while a World Cup semi-final goes on.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'd be interesting.
I don't like this World Cup being in winter. I think it's stupid and... why's the whole football calendar got to turn around for Qatar winning the World Cup? I think it's a bit weird, mate. But
I think Sepp Blatter is very
and
he's very happy with it, and probably his bank account showing that.
Blatter and Platini. It's a miracle that they're still not involved.
You know what
I mean?
There
World
we
Cup
go.
is summer for me, regardless.
But I agree. But TT will be covering the World Cup as well as covering champions next year, Ipswich Town Football Club. Good evening, Kev. Hope you're well. Good to meet you on Saturday as well. So we've got 3 games across 3 decades. I am going to... What is this machine called again, Coxie, for those that didn't see episodes 1 and 2?
It's not the machine. I mean, I still can't believe we haven't got back to Matt would know what I'm talking about. The Flux Capacitor. It's a very important thing of the DeLorean in Back to the Future, isn't it, Matt?
Yes. Now, what is your favourite Back to the Future out of the 3?
Definitely the first one.
You know, the first one.
The original one, yeah.
I quite like the third one when I go back to the Wild West.
That's all right. Yeah, that's all right.
But yeah, great films. Martin, you've never seen any of them.
Oh, come on.
You've never seen any of them. I've seen bits of them. I know there's a guy called Marty in there because it's followed me around my whole life. Marty McFly.
Very good guitarist. Chuck Berry style.
Still followed me around my whole life.
One film I've never seen is Top Gun. Of course, the sequel's coming out.
I've never seen that one, no.
Maverick.
Never appealed to me either, that one.
No, that's an 80s film as well. But they're Back to the Future, right? Fantastic.
I'm not a huge film buff. I'm going to be honest.
Really?
I'd rather watch a TV series than film.
You like soaps, don't you?
I'm a big EastEnders fan, yeah.
Come on. Emmerdale's your go-to, as we know.
Emmerdale. Well, I watch them all. Emmerdale, EastEnders, Corrie.
Ever.
Emmerdale Farm was when it's at its peak. Ben Moore, Talking Town, never sleeps. It never does. Right, so the Flux Capacitor is going to be spun. Let's see where it lands first. It's 1992. The game we know pretty well by now. It is, of course, John Lyle's Blue and White Army against Newcastle. Well, first thing to say is we covered this game this week, Matt. Tell the people at home when we covered it, what we covered it on, and where they...
Well, if you're tuning into this, then I'm pretty certain you've probably watched already. And if you haven't, why not? Craig Forrest, Romeo's on Divan special with me, Martin and the Cruncher. 90 minutes of great nostalgia chat. Coxie was there watching, weren't you, Coxie?
I certainly was. Yeah, it was a good watch. Well, yeah, very enjoyable.
It was great chat. Obviously, we've had Craig on before, but it was brilliant chatting to Romeo. The Cruncher delivered again. That guy, and his contact list. So it's great. I think it's about 95 minutes, wasn't it? We did.
It was, it was great content. Though.
Lots of great
really
chat.
enjoyable. Discussing a great team, and let's discuss that.
And they can't do that on Talk Norwich City. They can't do it. They've exhausted the Bayern Munich side. That's it.
Bless them. Yeah, Scott and Charlene are back for the final of
And
Neighbours. You are correct.
Mike Bassett.
Yeah, we're today in the Clutch Cup, but let's
Bit
discuss that time then again, gentlemen. Let's put some meat on the bone. So, number one song at this time. Does anybody know what was number one in the charts in 2003?
It's going to be. I reckon it's going to be some kind of grunge affair.
I do because I've got it written down.
You have.
Teen
Don't
Spirit?
say the answer.
No, like Teen Spirit.
No, it's not. Any ideas? Coxie, for those at home, tell the people at home what it is.
The number one song at this particular time, where we was actually proud of our sides, and we was. It was "Stay" by Shakespeare's Sister.
Oh, I did remember.
Yeah, that one.
They were named after a Morrissey song, I think, Shakespeare's Sister. I think that's where they got their name from.
It's terrible.
It's not your vibe, that, Martin, is it?
I've got it in my ears and I can't close it down. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible.
Let's move on to the game, Ian, which was not terrible.
It was a great game. Yeah.
Coxie, you was at this one?
I was there. Yes, it's when I sort of first started going sort of properly. I was there in the Churchman's that day, and yeah.
I miss everyone calling it the Churchman's. I still call the stands by the North Stand, the Churchman's, the Pioneer Stand. The Cobbol's the only one that's never changed, isn't it?
So that's for sure, yeah.
Yeah, it is. So this is Newcastle 3-2. Kawamia walk. Witton. Yeah. We've just beaten Wolves 2-1, Southend 2-1, but we followed this up with 2 defeats. But we're league champions. Just how good was that year? It was Cruncher said it's in his top 5 games, town games he's attended.
Favorite season, yeah.
What made that team so good then, lads? Like, what about the team? Was it pace? Was it power? Was it combination of both? You know, what particularly made it great?
I think it's probably. You might agree with this, Coxie. I don't know. I think that team has probably over the years, because Ipswich have not done very well and been treading water for so long, and that's the last time we actually lifted a first team trophy at Pullman Road. I don't know. There's kind of like a legacy around that side a little bit, isn't it? And the fact that John Lyle was such a huge hero at West Ham, done 30 years there, has a season out of the game after he gets the elbow, comes back at Pullman Road, finishes 14th, then champions. I don't know. It just seems like it was a fast track to success. And of course, we then lead, don't we, Coxie, into the Premier League, the inaugural Premier League.
The first Premier League, yeah.
That's what Craig Forrest said. They just thought it was a rebranding of the first division. Didn't realise it was going to be turned into what it is today. But yeah, I suppose, being a part of that, I mean, like you always say, mine, don't you? Like, who cares what kit you've got? If you get promoted in it, it'll always be a favourite. And, this is a team that got promoted and will always be a favourite, I think. Certainly with all the dead years we've had since.
And again, Coxie, I've often said this football club is at the heart of everything that's ever happened in English football. And again, we are, because we're the first champion to be put into the new Premier League. We're a part of the new Premier League. Again, Ipswich Town are in the middle of history being made. It's what we do at this football club.
Yeah, we are proud of our history. Hence why we do this show. Yeah, for me, I mean, this side, I mean, we can, the present Ipswich Town side, we can sort of take a bit of heart from this, because the season before, I think we finished 14th.
Yeah, we did.
I think me and Cruncher actually spoke about this on Saturday at the statue. So, and then we wasn't expected to do that. Well, myself, we weren't expected. We thought, here we go again. We go through the motions, and John Lyle, put a team together. I mean, perhaps it was the sliding doors for us actually fell, because he said the other night when he spoke to Romeo and Craig that John Walk came in. He was training with the club, so it's just one of them things that was meant to be, I think. And he scored the goals which you showed the other night. It was actually a John Walk classic. How he sort of strolls in from the edge of the penalty area and sticks that big header in there. Bless him.
Absolutely.
It was just phenomenal, wasn't he, Walkie? I mean, we touched on this, didn't we, in the show Sunday? But can you believe no club picked him up?
No,
you say he was training with us, and there he is, absolute Don, still in defence.
That wouldn't happen now, would it? A player of that caliber,
absolutely not.
Somebody would be prepared to take a fly. The transfers that year quite interesting as well, because as you say, John Walker on a free, Paul Goddard on a free, Eddie Yowd signed for 250,000.
Yeah, from Everton.
Everton, spot on the money. Yeah, where did Paul Goddard come from? Did anyone give me
that was we said that, didn't we? At Millwall.
Good boy.
Be a West Ham legend. So there we see what we often see in Ipswich history, don't we? Going back to get a trusted lieutenant, we call him, Coxie. John Lyle.
Yeah, he was known as the Sarge, I think, if my memory serves me correctly.
I think might be right, actually.
Yeah.
That's
but my memory of him was every time I went to Portman Road at this time, every time they announced his name, there's a bit of a groan from some people around me for some reason. Bless him.
He was highly thought of at West Ham, wasn't he? Which is why
he was.
And of course, Ditto Whitton. He came. Steve Whitton had been at West Ham with Lyle as well. So I mean, they were obviously two players that he trusted.
Yeah, and the other night, as Craig and Romo said, he was just. He was sort of. That was a good spot by Cruncher. He never smiled. I never sort of noticed that until then.
Right. Yeah.
Because he was the penalty king, and he was the big ball from Neil Thompson, left back over to him, knocked down for Kiwami to run on with his pace. It's
funny you should talk about left backs because Neil Thompson. I don't know.
I love Thompson.
Yeah. He's who you need now, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like someone who can deliver us. We keep talking about set pieces. Walkie would score from set pieces. We said Sunday. We can't seem to do that, and we haven't really got a left back who can put in, I think, a really quality delivery. And Thompson could do that, and also obviously he had a thunderbolt of his shot as well.
Absolutely. So that's 1992. That's a fantastic year. Cruncher says so many underrated players on this side: Thompson, Palmer, Milton, Whitton. Craig at Portsmouth, 92 is the year me and my wife met. She was converted into a Town fan pretty quickly. The rest is history. Good lad, Craig.
Do you know what else was coming after that?
92 was also the year me and Mrs. Cox met.
Oh, okay.
There you go. You see, when the Town are playing love is in the air all around the county. Cruncher asks, footage of the game, Gov. There is footage of the game, but I got in trouble from the powers that be when I played it on. That's the only game they had an issue with, the EFL.
Really?
Yes.
That's where Gavin Peacock scores the 2 for Newcastle, and as Craig rightly said, he went on to be a pastor in North America or something, highly religious guy.
So instead, I am going to play you the inaugural advert for the Premier League. So this is what we won, ladies and gentlemen. Forget the trophy, forget the first place. We won the right to be included in this inaugural history-making advert. Enjoy. Hopefully you can hear it.
Would you bring that badge back? The old school badge? What does everyone think in the comments? Would you bring that back? We obviously had it on the 81 Memorial tribute shirt, didn't we? But would you bring it back as like a regular thing if we have a new kit this season?
No. I like our badge.
It's all right. You know what I'm like, Martin. I wouldn't want to rebrand completely, but
you would. Right, that's 1992. Let's fire up the Flux Capacitor, and where are we heading next? Coxie, 2003. Talk to me. Put some meat on that bone. Who's number one in the charts, and what's happening in the box office?
Okay, so it's Friday, the 18th of April, which I believe Easter fell that day. It was a 5:15 kickoff, and we were on Sky. And spoiler, we actually won on Sky.
Wow, I didn't know it was on Sky.
It was 5:15, was it? I can see remember that. Yeah, very sunny, wasn't it?
That's what I remember. Yeah, sunny but cold. Typical sort of Easter weather. I think.
For those at home, just because we haven't said it yet, the game is of course Ipswich versus Portsmouth. The year Portsmouth won the title, Coxie, carry on, my friend. 5:15 on Sky. I didn't know it was on Sky.
Yeah.
I really didn't. That's
Yeah, it was
surprised me.
Sky, yeah, I remember
Yeah. Well, it was only on Sky because the year before we were relegated, and we looked with sort of envious eyes, and I think Portsmouth pretty
Yeah.
much stormed it that year with some great players in there.
Well, they got Redknapp, didn't they?
Yeah, they
He
got.
was director of football there, I think, and bored, and then the manager got sacked. I think it might have been Graham Ricks or someone like that. And they put Harry in as caretaker, and he said, "I've got the love of the game back again." And he brought in Merson, didn't he? And
Yeah.
Tim Sherwood and all them characters.
Rob.
They walked it. They walked the division. Crazy.
They did. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was definitely top scorer for them. Todd Off. It was the top scorer of the league.
Shaka Hislop in goal.
Yeah.
That guy Dezu. Do you remember him in defence?
The Zoo. Yes.
Yeah, Aaron Dezu, yeah.
Yeah, I do remember him. I do. I've got some footage of the game, which I'm going to play in just a second. But heading into the game, though, we'd beat Coventry 4-2. Marcus Bent.
Oh, was that one?
Yeah.
Road,
Lost to Forest 4-3. Beat Gillingham. This, of course, was the start of Joe Rule and the Entertainers, wasn't it? Because this is the year George Burley was sacked in October. Joe Rule took over in the same month.
Love Joe Rule.
We finished 7th, 4 points away from the playoffs. So again, had we sacked Burley earlier, like I wanted to at the time, we probably would have ended up in the playoffs. But who was your favourite player from that era, Matt? Because you got, your strikers were Canargo, who got 21, Darren Bent, Marcus Bent, Ambrose, Tommy Miller. Who was your favourite player from that period?
Was Shefke in the team at this point?
No, not quite.
I don't think it's signed for Town.
Did I sign at this point?
No.
I used to like. I tell you what I did like. Marshall was in goal. I thought that was a bit weird. I used to like Gardso. I thought he was a good signing for us.
Oh, yeah, I like Gardso.
And then he went to West Bromwich Albion, didn't he?
I think in true Ipswich style, we sort of gave him away, didn't we, for about £500,000.
That's a great goal. That's a great goal.
That was a terrible strip. The blue's too light. The blue was too light for me.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Look at that.
When they put it in the programme for you to vote on it, it was darker than that. 100%. People will back me up in the comments. Crunch will back me up.
I liked that kit. And that was a filthy, filthy goal. He's won the ball and then he's just, that's what we don't do enough of these days. That's what quality brings.
I can't believe this is like 20 years ago.
I know.
There he is. There, Big Joe. I tell you, I saw outside the ground that day was John Portsmouth with his big belt and his hat and the tattoos and all that.
Matt Richards, prime. Oh, look at that.
There he goes, drilled. Lovely.
Do you know what? Matt Richards and Ian Westlake were a fairly combination, weren't they? Because they were great for us. The moment they left us.
Yeah. Weird that, wasn't it? That was a typical Tommy Miller goal, that, wasn't it? He's fed on scraps. Rhymes in the box, which we don't seem to do anymore, and scores the rebound. Yeah.
It's a terrible pitch.
Well, they were hungover, I think, Portsmouth, because they just got promoted, didn't they?
Yeah.
Canyago, here he goes. Oh, I love it. When he was in.
Look at it. Oh, look at that. Come on. Get him back in the
vintage Pablo right there.
When Pablo Canyago was on it, I have never seen anyone better. And I've seen some good players ever. When Pablo was on it, Pablo was on it. He was a really good player.
I remember him playing for Spain under 21s and scoring a couple of goals against England at Villa Park, I think it was. And that's where he first came. People knew who he was. Yeah, great. That was a great goal, wasn't it? Into the roof of the net.
But wait, it was a classy player, Coxie, but he was also a luxury player a lot of times because he would be on it for 60 minutes and not on it for 20. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and the time he was on it, he would score. He's just we forget.
Magilton I still liked from that. Well, the team was Marshall, Vilnius, Vilnius. Yeah. Martin, do you want to tell them about Vilnius?
Fabian Vilnius coming up Friday. Yeah, look at that.
Segued into Friday, yeah.
Matt Holland, obviously.
God.
Chris Makin I liked. I don't know why I liked Chris Makin. I just thought he was like reliable. I liked him. Richards, I used to think was a bit lightweight, really, but and Royce, obviously. Magilton, brilliant. Miller, Canyago, Marcus Bent. Alan Armstrong came on for Marcus. Is that Alan Armstrong? Yeah, came on for Marcus Bent, yeah. And on the bench was Bowditch. Never lit fire at Town, really, did he? He never quite hit the heights after that hat trick against Watford.
No.
A
Well, Matt
wind
Ridges
assisted one.
wasn't playing until January, was he? Because obviously Clapham was sold for a million, 1.3 in January, wasn't he?
Where did he go? Clapham.
Birmingham.
Oh, but it was Birmingham. Yeah. Yeah, shame, but a great side. And Joe was unlucky not to take Ipswich into the Premier League, I think.
Yeah.
We had some good players there.
Yeah.
But it's funny. It's funny, Matt. You say about what's his name, John Portsmouth FC Robinson. Whatever his name is.
John Widgeworth.
Yeah.
Portsmouth.
Well, what I remember from that day, he actually climbed on.
He did
above the thing.
right.
He was ringing his bell for ages. They
Yeah.
didn't actually hoist him off there. Let him get on with it. He was up
got
there for ages.
Yeah, that's why he wasn't there this season. He's still got a staging ban at Pullman Road.
Well, all right, they let him do his thing, and then all right, mate, you're banned forever.
Yeah, he walks up and down, didn't he? Like shirtless.
Yeah.
Like you, Martin.
Right,
Like you, Martin. When we get played next season, he's shirtless. He's on the thing.
I remember seeing him. it from I was in the couple. I'm obviously always sat in the couple stands. I remember seeing him. Yeah, it was
above you. Yeah.
To a 13-year-old me, it was like, what the hell is this fella doing?
Yeah, he's a big England fan as well. He was always on the front row at Wembley for England games.
Really?
Yeah, he's sort of famous now, isn't he, for being this antique bookseller?
Tattoos aren't real.
Yeah, and as Cruncher said there, as Cruncher said there, he was ringing his bell, and that's all they kept singing was Harry and Jim.
Harry and Jim. So, 2003. What else happened in 2003? Well, let's see how many things you can remember from this one. So, Cristiano Ronaldo made his Manchester United debut in August at the age of 18.
Wow. Signed from Sporting Lisbon.
Yeah. I wonder what happened to him.
Yeah.
No idea.
What's that guy?
I don't think he had the necessary tools to be a world-class player, do you?
No. I think they just named an airport after him or something.
Or they had a really good statue.
Oh, God, yeah.
From the live.
Is that in Madeira?
Yes,
statue?
it is. Yes.
Yeah.
It's awful. It's hideous. The final Concorde flight. Do you ever fly by Concorde, Matt?
No, but I did know the guy who was a Concorde pilot who set the record for London to New York. They were always trying to compete with it. Yeah, if you was wind assisted on the supersonic flight, then you had a chance of making the records. So it was always changing the Guinness Book of Records. And I knew a guy who flew it. Yeah.
Nice. And this was your number one song in the chart. Let's see how many of you know this song.
Nice. Like this track.
So go.
Nice. I bet
Fan of
Cox
that?
on the dance floor to that. Break dancing.
I never knew Maroon 5 was on that track.
I never knew that. They are they?
Yeah, Maroon 5. And who is that? Who else is it, Coxie?
Oliver Cheatham, whoever.
Oh, Oliver Cheatham. Yeah, I don't know that name.
Great song,
front man is another man heavily tattooed on his body, like John Widgeworth Portsmouth.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's one of these guys who does their videos without a shirt on. Surprise, surprise.
I never knew that.
Is that not a bugbear of yours in the sun when you go down the park or whatever and you're playing, with your son on the bike or whatever, and then always the guys without shirts on have tattoos? They're not buggy.
I've never noticed.
I mean, look, you go to Spain and that, Coxie. People wearing shirts there. UK, people take their shirts off, show the tats.
Let's be honest. As a self-proclaimed fat boy, it does annoy me when the moment a little bit of sun peeks out from behind a cloud, people have to get their t-shirt off.
That's what I'm saying.
What are you doing? Put your t-shirt away. Put your t-shirt on, sorry.
Yeah, they're doing it in Spain. They're doing it in Portugal. They're wearing suits and that. So, I don't get it.
Yeah.
I can't do it because if I do it, it ain't going to look good. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm too invested in donuts and cookies. I'm going to be honest.
And wagon wheels. You referenced them the other night. Wagon wheels. I've not had a wagon wheel in years. That's another 80s thing, isn't it?
Nice bit of jam in the middle.
Yeah. Was it jam? It's kind of like some kind of concentrate, surely.
I got shortchanged because I had one the other day and there was no jam in the middle, despite it being advertised as a jam wagon wheel.
Oh. Are they still in red packets?
No, that's original. That's without jam. Oh. The blue ones are the ones with the jam.
Oh, right. Okay.
Okay.
This is great wagon wheel knowledge. If you want wagon wheel chat, everybody, come here. Talking wagon wheels.
If you want food knowledge, just come to me.
Yeah.
I know everything.
Conscious just said he's going to be going topless in the Maldives.
Well, I should hope so, because he is on holiday.
And apparently the wagon wheel size is reduced over there. That doesn't surprise me.
No,
everything's reduced over the years.
Yeah. Where's the wagon wheels duo? That's the thing now, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. I wonder if hula hoops have reduced, or is it your fingers just got bigger?
Can you still get big O's? Is big O's a thing still?
Big O's.
Big O's.
Remember big O's? They were like because like hula hoops were supposed to be like a female, Chris. Can I say that? And big O's were supposed to be like your key for boys.
You just did.
I don't
know that advert.
Branding thing. Yeah.
Talking of 2003, it's funny because the hula hoop advert with Harry Enfield. Do you remember that one? No, they're round and they're staying round forever.
How does that then? Was it?
I'm sure that was hula hoops. Was that not hula hoops?
You're right.
It might not have been, but
I think you're right. I think they were.
Great time.
I remember you used to advertise dime bars.
Dime bars.
Yeah, I was never a fan of the dime bar. I was massively overrated. The dime. I think that's still going, isn't it? Dime bars.
As far as I know, I'm surprised to hear wagon wheels are still going.
Yeah.
Well,
I was pushing my shopping trolley. I looked to my left, and there was a wagon wheel, and it just said, "Hello, old friend." And I said, "Hello, old friend," and it went into the trolley. In it went.
I reckon our corner shop's gonna have a wagon wheel. I might go and check that out.
Oh, Matt,
they'll have wagon wheels in there. 100%.
Talking of wagon wheels, not quite wagon wheels, but our mate Baz from Wigan.
Oh yeah.
He is doing a charity event up there north, right?
Yeah.
And the food they've got advertised is a Wigan kebab.
What does this
consist of?
Do we know?
Well, I do, because you know me, I googled it the moment I read it. I was like, what on earth is a Wigan kebab? And I have to be honest to say, I was somewhat disappointed because it's basically a pile of sugary.
What we got?
It is basically a bread roll with a meat pie in the middle.
Oh my God! I couldn't have that. I couldn't.
So, yeah.
What the hell? They do orange wagon wheels? Says Gavin Moore.
A Wigan kebab is a buttered barm cake with a meat and potato pie slapped in the middle.
Is a barm cake a roll? Is that what we call a roll?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. Not for me, that. I wouldn't have an orange wagon wheel either. I never liked orange clubs.
Orange? Get that in the bin.
Yeah. I don't like chocolate orange either. Terry's chocolate orange? No.
But do you fancy a Wigan kebab there then, Coxie?
I think I'll give that a miss. I did wonder what you're going to say. We said a Wigan kebab. I thought it was going to be a woman with a short skirt on or something.
Right, yeah.
Surely Wigan kebab is a kebab with hair in it, says Facebook user.
Oh God, no, awful.
My first thought when I look at it is how dry it must be.
We got into a punch up once in Gran Canaria over a kebab. My mate, it was one of them like lads' holidays, 2 a.m. My mate gets a kebab, right? I'm waiting to get the taxi. I'm in the queue to get a taxi back to the hotel. And then he gets his kebab and bites into it, goes, "Oh, this is disgusting, mate. I ain't paying you." And the bloke lost his shit and it all kicks off. All kicks off.
Confessions of Matt Phillips.
Punches were thrown. Not by me, of course. I was too busy trying to get the taxi back home.
Do you know, I really honestly can't believe that anything kicks off around you.
No,
you're just a sweet, polite, unassuming man, and I can never believe anything kicks off around you.
Yeah.
You don't moan, you don't whine, you're not grumpy.
No, not grumpy. I'm certainly not grumpy today. I think I've got over it now, Coxie. I was very grumpy last week. I think I've got over it now. I was depressing him.
We need to kick the machine and get it back working again. We're going to stop one more time. Where's it going to land? 1981. Wow. And to help us, I have got somebody waiting in the wings.
There's only one man who can help us out on this one.
Before we bring him in, Coxie, as always, put some meat on that bone. Who is number one in the charts and in the box office?
Okay, number one in the charts. It was Making Your Mind Up by Bucks Fizz. Now, they went on to win the Eurovision Song Contest when it was a song contest and not Love Thy Neighbour.
Making your mind up.
Yeah, it's all political now, Eurovision, isn't it? Mine's a very big fan of Eurovision.
I am.
And my wife as well. She loves it. She used to hold fancy dress parties for it, mine.
I love Eurovision. Honestly, one of my favourite songs of all time is from Eurovision. It's a German entry. My love is stronger now than you'll ever know. That's what I'm going to sing of you. But yeah, 1981, Bucks Fizz. Didn't they recently make a comeback?
Yeah, well, they fell out, didn't they? So there's two Bucks Fizzes. They argued over the name. So it's like Bucks Fizz, and then like original Bucks Fizz or something. Yeah, they all fell out. They went off in pairs. Yeah.
So basically, it's Bucks Fizz, and then you've got the Audi version of Bucks Fizz.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like the talented bit of Bucks Fizz. I don't know. Someone tell me in the comments. There's two Bucks Fizzes anyway.
Okay, so that's number one in the charts. What about the box office?
Well, if I got it right, because you did tell me that what I've got down here, and it could be the American one, it was Star Wars, a reissue version. I mean, it was.
Was it?
Yeah. So they obviously tried to cash in. Well, that'd be about four years after the original came out in '77. So
I would have thought maybe Raiders of the Lost Ark. Was that too early for Raiders?
Probably later on that year. Yeah, I think that's.
Yeah, I think it was 81 or 8. It's only 81 or 82.
No, I think it was definitely 81 for the Raiders. Love that film.
Great film. Yeah.
Never seen it.
Oh my
God,
what is wrong with you? You've never seen Back to the Future. You've never seen Indiana Jones. What's going on? This has got me grumpy. I'm grumpy now.
Oh, you've done it now.
Never seen it. Never seen it.
Unbelievable.
1981. What else happened? We had NASA launched the very first space shuttle mission. We had, of course, the royal wedding. Lady Diana Spencer marries Charles, Prince of Wales.
I can remember both those two events. The wedding I got bored with because my mum was watching it. So I went out and played football in the garden. It was on ages. And then we went as a school trip to Stansted, old school Stansted, to see the space shuttle fly back to NASA for when it would take off for its inaugural trip. That was a good trip, that. Yeah.
Kelly Bisner. Wait, Bucks Fizz is a drink, right? Were they that big the drink was named of them or what?
They were named after the drink, I think. Yeah.
Okay. So going back to the royal wedding, Matt, did you not have a street party in your home in Chelmsford? Because we did.
Yeah. So that afternoon we went to a little village called Little Waltham, and there was like a big party in like the village hall there. So I went to that because that's where I went to school, primary school. So we went there, and like we had like I think they issued like memorabilia, didn't they? Like Charles and Diana cups. Everyone had like a Charles and Diana cup or something.
Yeah. From school we had a Charles and Diana cup plus a little coin.
Yeah.
Coin. Yeah.
Yeah.
That went well. Into that marriage, didn't it?
Yeah.
So it was a big thing then back in 1981.
The Ladybird book of Charles and Diana. Yeah, they capitalised on stuff back then, didn't they?
Yeah. Merched it right out, didn't they?
Yeah, merched it right up, even though it was like 40 odd years ago. Yeah.
They did. But we're, of course, here to reminisce about the football, not the royal wedding, although royal weddings, they are notoriously boring. You are right, Matt. So the game. Aston Villa versus Ipswich Town. That Coxie's put that must be the championship sealed now. Let's bring in Colin Plum. Hey! Colin,
were you there, Colin? Were you at Villa Park, Colin, that day? I bet you were.
What do you think?
Oh, well, absolutely. I'm going to put my mortgage on that you were there.
You were there.
Me and Dad had just been standing up a whole end only 3 days or 3 or 4 days. That's Wednesday night, I think. 3 or 4 days previous for the semi-final, obviously against City.
Yeah, cool.
And then we travelled up again. I still say we show more stomach in that game than possibly any other game in that season because. You know, we just lost in front of 50-odd thousand in the semi-final at the same ground, and then we went back to the same ground 3 or 4 days later for what would, everybody was calling, the title decider. Yeah. And that was always my dad's. That was always, what my dad really wanted for me to see us win the league because I was only 5.5 when we won the league. My brother was fortunate enough to have gone and seen a few games with my dad in that championship winning season. But every season, my dad said to me, "This will be the year, Colin. This will be the year, Colin." and we got, we finished third. I don't know, a couple of times, fourth couple of times, runners up a couple of times, and it just weren't to be. But I thought that night, and so did everybody else in the country. Actually, once we'd won that game, I really thought we'd cracked it. But obviously, we after that game, we lost that. We lost to the Arsenal, and then we lost that game to that lot down the road. And obviously, I went to Norwich and stood up at Barclays that day, as you used to in them days, the old fence and everything. And
that was some hint from Eric Gates there, Colin.
Was that Eric Gates?
Oh, I'll tell you what. I've said this before on the show, and I'll say it again. I'll tell you what. That bloke only scored worldies. I tell you what, he was so Matt and Coxie and Gov. That bloke, and not because I'm just watching this goal now, because I can remember so many. Great. I'll tell you what, any town fan my age or around about my age or older will tell you he was one of the most underrated players.
Yeah, he was.
Especially in the town side. I think he did win one or two England caps at the end.
That's Gary Shaw, that's Gary Shaw, isn't it?
Who's in goal? Yeah. Who's in goal?
Yeah, Paul Cooper.
Yeah, Paul Cooper.
But that's funny. Yeah, that's funny, because he'd Brazil got that one, I believe.
He did.
That's funny. That's funny, because up the same end, up the whole end, Cooper had just, faced an unbelievable shot from Paul Power in the semi-final up that end.
Yeah, we're going to see here two great saves. That's one of them. But this one particularly is a great save from Cooper. I'm as a young fan, this one particularly is a great save.
Is that Peter With?
It could well be.
Yeah,
I think it was. Yeah, I think it was.
How good was Cooper? Because he's not a player that is ever really spoken about now by the younger generation. Because he's not really.
Colin. Yeah,
I'll tell you how good he was, Gav, and I'm not going over the top. He only didn't play for England because he was born in the wrong era.
Yeah.
You had Clements and you had Shilton, and they basically. They basically shared the England goal for a lot of years, not just a few years, a lot of years.
And sometimes Colin.
Yeah, Joe Corrigan was about. He played a few games for England, but it was basically Clements and
he was
and Shilton. But to answer your question, Gov, Paul Cooper was the best uncapped player Ipswich Town probably have ever had.
Yeah.
Greatest penalties saver.
Saving king.
Yeah.
In the first division stroke Premiership. I think he still holds the record. I believe, might be wrong.
8 out of 10, wasn't it? 8 out of 10 pens.
Something like that, mate. Yeah, he saved two in one game against Derby County, he was just amazing. He had this thing where he used to put his arms to one side, and the penalty taker always fell for it every time, But he had that. He
wasn't the tallest, was he, Colin? Really?
No,
5'10", maybe. 5'10", maybe.
Wow. I think he was taller than Laurie Civil, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, taller than Laurie. Laurie's about 5'8".
So what happened?
5'8".
So what happened, Colin? Because Trevor says we were a victim of we were too many games caught up on us, victim of our own success. Was that the case? Because looking at the run-in that did us in, Cole, how badly, I suppose, did that Norwich defeat hurt? I mean, I can't imagine what that would have been like for somebody like yourself living through that as a young man. Norwich more or less cost us that league.
Was that Easter Monday, Colin? Was that Easter Monday?
Yeah, and then we travelled to Cologne the next day, and we played Cologne on the Wednesday in the semi-final UEFA Cup. and we went over there and won 1-0 with a Terry Butcher header. I mean, the stomach that side had, you know, for the big game was quite unbelievable. I mean, also, I was talking about the Norwich game, and you're quite right, Gov, but you know, we played Man City, we beat them, and then we went up to Middlesbrough, and all the Yugoslav player scored. We went 1-0 up, actually. I mean, it was a big weekend. We were at Ayerson Park, and Villa were playing the Arsenal, and Villa were 2-0 down, and we had gone 1-0 up at Ayerson Park with PM, God rest his soul, putting us 1-0 up. And then I can't pronounce his name. I think it was Yankovic or something like that. He Yugoslav. He scored twice in the second half, and that really demoralised us. And then we played Keegan's lot on a Tuesday night, I think it was, and we lost again. We lost. You know, it was unbelievable, Gov, because
Keegan's lot, you mean Southampton, Colin? Yeah. He was at
Southampton, yeah. Keegan's lot, yeah. Had a good side them days. Keegan, Shannon, and all that lot, and the boy Williams in midfield, very, very good player. But the thing is, I'd like to say to you, Gav, is that season. Look, my memory will only be as good as it can be. I think. Look. And if this was in the Premier League now, they would go bonkers. You know, all that lot on the Souness, and then what? You know, Souness, the old boy who thought he was a footballer. You know, he was a bit of an animal, to be fair. But I don't know what he would say about our start. I think we lost in the first division. I think we lost 2 or 3. It was either 2 or 3 games out of the first 32 league games we played in that season.
Can you imagine now? Can you imagine that?
Yeah. In the top flight. In the top flight.
We lost against Brighton away 1-0, and we lost away to Tottenham 5-3. That's the only 2 defeats until March.
Wow. Phenomenal.
And also, Gov, what you've got to remember is now they play a 38-game season. So we lost 2 or 3 out of the first 32. And now, then we played a 42-game season. So that puts it all into perspective. I mean, look, the Invincibles went undefeated in a 38-game season. We had only been beat twice. I know that's twice more, but we'd only been beat twice in a 32-game season, if you like.
With one sub.
Yeah, one sub. You know,
and they say small squad, Colin. Small squad, wasn't it?
Yeah, very
and answering Gav's question from before, you know, what cost us? What answering the gentleman's whoever it was question from before? What cost us? Obviously, was obviously a small squad, and B, you know, not unlike Liverpool where they had like people like Jimmy Case, people like David Fairclough.
David Fairclough, yeah. Super sub.
Who could come off the bench and really make a difference. I mean, we had, with all due respect, we had like Robin Turner, Mitch Javray.
Was Davray around them days?
Sorry?
Was Davray around them days? Was he?
1981. 1981, yeah. Well, he didn't play very much, but Davray. Yeah, Davray was just about starting to break into the 15 or 16 then, yeah. Davray was, yeah.
You was right about that Borough player, Colin. Yankovic, you were right.
Yankovic, yeah.
A comment here from sorry, Colin. Kokomar. As Bobby Robson said, we were a big team but a small club. We didn't have 20 quality players. Backup was essentially Tommy Parkin, Kevin O'Callaghan, Robin Turner, and Kevin Steggles. Not quite enough. And he adds that Arsenal game was a bugger. They were a mercurial side in the early 80s. Could be terrible, but on their day, they'd beat anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine if you put yourself in that situation again, Colin? 5 years later, we'd be relegated. It seems mad. as a young fan looking back, that we were
Yeah, well,
almost kings of England, and then within 5 years,
Yeah.
it's,
So
you know,
crazy.
and we're still living those scars today, because today we still have the scars of a cup run. Or we don't want a cup run; it's going to hurt us. And I think it comes from that time there.
Yeah, but again, though, Gov, you've got to remember in the following season, in 81, 82, we finished runners up again.
Yeah.
To Liverpool. I'll tell you what, you can't look that lot down the road. I never really want to mention their names because they wax lyrical about a load of rubbish, and that football club, you can say what anybody can say what they like about. They're up and down, up and down, up and down in that Premier League. Yes, they are, and well done for doing that. Okay, I mean that from my heart. But anybody from that football club, going back to the which was, I know, was their best side ever, if you like, the Sutton side, right? And but even that side, was not comparable to
No.
that Ipswich side, that era. I mean, they just couldn't be, because they just weren't. They just wasn't in Ipswich's league. I mean, that side that we had in especially in the early 80s was just a different class. They really was.
Colin, this is not the only time I'm sure we are going to be speaking about 81, 82 or further years. It's been a pleasure. Keep that knowledge brushed up, because I feel the flux capacitor will be coming back to you. All right.
Oh, can I just ask a question to that lot down the road? Are they going to have an open top bus for the most ever relegations out of the Premier League? Well, they always seem to want an open top bus for something, don't they?
Yeah, why not book it up?
Are they going to have one? And also, I must agree with a very good friend of mine, I'm not going to mention his name, who said to me today that I think that side will not struggle, but will find it more difficult. And I totally agree with him of getting out of that league next season. I don't think they're going to find it quite so easy next year.
They always come out smelling the roses, Colin.
Colin, we love you. Keep the knowledge brushed up, my man. Stay well, stay healthy. He is right, though. They seem to like the word participants, so at least they can claim another honour. They were participants of sorts in this year's
Participate in the Premier
League.
Did they participate? Sort of. They were there, weren't they? They took part.
Yeah, they did. Procrastinating Womble, FFP is rubbish. A nation can now sponsor your warm-up tops, hyperbole or not. Back then it was football with a much fairer playing field. Football has lost. Yeah, that's that. Isn't that because of what we showed in the second clip, the Premier League? Hasn't that was a whole new game, and they really meant it.
Yeah. It was supposed to be like make it a level playing field for everybody, but of course it's turned into 3-4 club horse race these days, isn't it?
Well, if Sheffield United go up from the Championship, it's something like out of the last 4 years, some ridiculous stat about parachute teams literally more or less bouncing back. It's no longer
look at Bournemouth.
Yeah,
tiny club. What's their stadium old cock say? 12,000 at most.
Yeah, 12 if you're lucky. Yeah. Their average is about 10,000. So
why is Sky always wanting to sort of piece together this fairy tale of New York style Cinderella story? There's not one there to weave. Why are you trying to weave it? We've just
got to get up through the divisions, and then we can be in the party then, can't we?
We will get to the promised land.
Had to sell the family jewels after building the Pioneer stand. Lee Brown, old school grounds back then, missed them. Kel, the team fell apart when Robson left. Ian, Darlington FC won the FA Trophy in 2011, and 6 months later we were made bankrupt. Typical Darlow. Ian, Welcome back to the platform, brother. We love it when you're on. Andrew, it was when money took over and the newsstand cost us.
Yeah.
Robson talked about turning down a 10-year contract with us to manage England. There's a whole alternative 1980s ITFC timeline.
Right, in that dimension.
Yeah, I would as well. And Kelly, we will play Norwich in 2 seasons as we go up next year, and they stay.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
There we go. Time machine is done. It can rest for another month. Matt, you're new to the chat. You're new to the show. What do you think?
Enjoyed it. It's good. We've covered some topics, haven't we? Football, wagon wheels, Bucks Fizz.
Yeah.
Shakespeare's sister. Things I haven't even thought about for God knows how many years. So very good.
Yeah, that half an hour really went quick, didn't it?
It's good. Hey, as much as we absolutely love and adore Colin on this platform, but if you can finish before 50 minutes when Colin's been on, you know it's been a good day because Colin can drop knowledge after knowledge after knowledge after knowledge. Yeah. Once he gets going, it's like a can of tango. You fizz it up, and he's just going to.
Everything we see on YouTube, Colin's been at. Just drink that in for a minute.
Yeah,
yeah.
He has. I hope you've enjoyed this live edition of Time Machine. We will work at the craft. We will look to improve it as we go. If you've got any feedback and suggestions, then please do drop me a line, 100stream89@gmail.com, or find me on social media. We are back Friday with another special. Fabian Vilnis will be joining. You know him, the Flying Dutchman. He will be joining us.
Norwich.
It's Norwich. 7:30, that one, my friends. So join us for that one. Then we have TT on the Sunday. We have an away day guide end of year special on Monday, and then of course another special coming up next week. But more on that later on.
Marvelous May. Welcome to Marvelous May on Talking Town.
Marvelous May. We'll see you then.